All right, I've attached a power cord, so we are ready to go down here. I didn't check the fuses, but I think we'll just plug it in, turn it on, see if we blow a fuse. I think that's the fun thing to do. That's the IMSAI way to do it. None of this Vivariac stuff. No. Now, this is a pull on. I'm gonna have to use some pliers here to do the pull on because it's kind of hard. So I'm going to plug it in, and you can see the smoke with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. No smoke. No go. All right, we're going to be monitoring the current up there, 119 volts, and let's turn it on. And we get 0 amps drawn, so I'm assuming maybe we have a blown fuse. We get 0 amps. That's pretty drastic. That's pretty drastic. So I say we start looking at fuses. All right, so I went through all the fuses. There's actually 3 fuses in the device here, and they were all okay. And the power switch works. I was getting voltage and stuff. In fact, I was actually getting a DC voltage as well. So I thought, well, maybe better look at the schematic, and we'll see what's going on, because it does act very strangely. So let's see here. I need to move this over so I can take a look at the schematic here. It's going to be a little bit small. I'll move you guys. All right, hope you can see this. So power comes in, it goes through 1 fuse, and then here's the switch. It actually switches both sides of the AC, which is nice. And then it goes into a transformer, and then it goes into a full wave rectifier. And then it rectifies it onto this big capacitor, which is that really big one that was on that back cover on the outside. It's this one. It's a 3300 microfarad. And I was getting like 30 volts across that. I thought, well, it's doing something. And then it comes into the instrument, and there's another fuse here, which is kind of strange. And there's another fuse down here. Now, this down here, remember, this thing can operate off of AC or a battery. And here's the battery connector. So the battery comes in here, and it goes through this fuse. So this fuse is just to protect the battery. And then it comes in, and there's a switch here if you're using battery. And that brings it in over to here. And then there's a secondary fuse in here. I don't know why yet. Anyway, so this switch here says, are you using AC or are you using battery? Well, what does that mean, using AC or using a battery? One's DC, one's AC, it's not going to work. But remember, we've rectified it. So what we've done is we have a DC voltage coming in on a battery, or this little power supply here rectifies it to some known voltage. So this switch here just says, take that DC from that transformer and rectifier, or take this DC from this battery. So you just have a DC. Well, how do you create a whole instrument that just has DC coming in, right? Well, it goes into this circuit here. This circuit is an oscillator. So it's another transformer here, and then there's a big, got to go out a little bit here. There's a big transformer here. So this is the main transformer. This creates plus, what was that, plus 80, 35, 16, 8.5, 5, minus 5.5, minus 25. So it creates all these voltages. That's what this one big transformer does. Well, where does it get its AC? It gets its AC from down here. This is a DC to DC converter. It takes the incoming DC and it runs it into this oscillator. So this oscillator runs and tickles this transformer to make it float. So now it's not ground reference, it's just wacka, wacka, wacka. And then it goes into these big transistors here. So you got this Darlington pair here, Darlington pair here. And you are whacking the primary on this transformer with these 2 transistors. So you're taking your DC and you're creating AC, and then you're creating DC again. So it's a DC to DC converter. So why didn't it work, and why did it draw no current? Well, maybe this oscillator's not running. If this oscillator doesn't run, then you don't rest of the instrument not going to do anything. It's not going to draw any current at all. All you're doing is creating this 8 volts here. And if that 8 volts isn't used, it's just not going to draw any current. So I started going down that rabbit hole and looked around it. Let's see, okay, I found where these big pass transistors, I figured maybe these transistors are blown up. That would be the most logical thing, is these big heavy-duty transistors may have, fried. And I was monitoring the current on the AC. And every once in a while, the current would spike up and then drop back down again. And I thought, well, that's interesting. It would spike up. It would go up to like a 1/4 amp, and then it would just die again. And I went, well, that's weird. And I thought, well, maybe the oscillator is trying to run, and then something shuts it down. Maybe there's a protection circuit in here that shuts down the oscillator if it's not working right or whatever, right? So I poked around, and I poked around, and I poked around. Let me show you what I found out. All right. Like I said, it was acting intermittently. It seemed that it would try to oscillate and then it wouldn't. And then it tried to oscillate and it wouldn't. And then I magically pushed the button and it worked. So what was wrong with it? What did I fix? Well, I didn't do anything at all. So my best guess is, in the process of trying to keep powering it up and trying to figure out what was going on, I probably reformed one of the capacitors. Okay? Probably one of the capacitors somewhere, probably in the oscillator. Maybe there's, I'm looking at this schematic now, there's a 68 microfarad capacitor in the oscillator to stiffen up the, yeah, I don't know. That's my guess though. My guess is that one of the capacitors probably was sick for not being used for a long time. Probably one of the electrolytics. And just by trying and trying and trying, it got enough jump start that it started to work. And now it seems like every time I turn it on now, it's just fine. So anyway, yeah, it seems to do its thing. The B channel seems to be a bit funny, or channel 2 seems to be a bit funny, but channel 1 seems to work a treat, and it even does like a B intensified by A. I think you can probably see that on camera. Let me zoom a bit here. Yeah, here's the A. Oops. A intensified by B. Let's turn this way down so you can see it. Yeah, there we go. So A intensified by B. So if we come over here and we highlight the thing we're interested in, then we go to B, then we're zoomed in, and we can move that back and forth with the knob here. So yeah, it seems like it is working just fine. Yeah, interesting. So I don't think I will need to do many repairs on this other than the B channel. So yeah, let me show you the B channel. Let's see, we'll swing it around. We'll put you can see how nice of a picture it is. I did make one adjustment before. The astigmatism was a bit off, and I adjusted that. But it's just some coils in the tube. So let's go to the B channel here, the channel 2. Turn on channel 2, and I don't see anything at all. That's because it's way down there. So here it is. So both channels run all the time. You can't turn them on and off. So I'm going to take that A channel, just kind of throw it down there. But the B channel is real noisy, and I don't know why. It's like you can see it flutter up and down. It's probably another capacitor, maybe. So it probably could use a recapping. But the channel 1 works great, and channel 2 is just noisy and goofy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, see it come and go? Strange, 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 strange. Let's move it back to channel 1. And you can see just channel 2 is noisy just with no input also. It's just, there's something wrong about channel 2. But channel 2, channel 1 is working great.